Hello there! The Sunbonnet Sue figure is a perennial old favorite for quilters. Today we'll give Sue new life with some fun quilting machine work and an easy technique for outlining applique figures. Gina Perks is showing us how to create beautiful geometric spirographic designs with our machines. And we'll see how work orders can save a quilting business money and give your customers more choices. So stay tuned. Linda's Longarm Quilting is aired free to you by Gamble Quilting Systems Vision 2. Innovation taken to the next level. My stitch, my vision, my Gamble. Today, we're updating Sunbonnet Sue and taking a look at some specific ways work orders can really impact the bottom line of a quilting business. But right now, Gina Perks is here to show us how to quilt these beautiful spirographic patterns. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you, Linda.
You've been winning more awards. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
On your quilts and garments, and you're going to show us how to do these spirographs today.
Yes, I am. I'm going to demonstrate how to create a mariner's compass using the workstation with the circle attachment, which makes it much quicker and easier.
And you just designed this yourself? You just did this
Yes.
yourself? This is
Yes.
great. This quilt is gorgeous, has just the right embellishments on it, and the reflection that you've done with these spirographs has made this an award-winning quilt.
Well, thank you.
So how do we get started?
Well, first of all, we are going to draw out a grid. We're going to start with a circle, whatever size you'd like. This is a 12.5-inch square. And then we're going to create a grid by drawing out a diagonal lines.
Okay,
and
from corner to corner.
Yes, and then the perpendicular lines.
Okay, dividing it in corners.
Uh-huh.
So this could be a block too. I mean, this could be a pieced block.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
All
you can do whole cloths, you know, a pieced quilt, a garment, anything using the same technique.
Oh, that would be really nice on the back of a jacket.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see that.
Yeah.
So we're going to sew a circle first?
So we're going to start by sewing a circle.
Okay.
I'm going to start with a small circle. And you can vary the sizes on the circles. If your circles are closer together, you're going to end up with a wider star. If you've got a really tiny circle and a large circle, you're going to get pointier.
So kind of experiment with this,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And we're using the circle, the workstation to do our perfect circle. You're not just going to
Yes. No.
draw this.
No, I'm not that good.
Okay. And on the workstation, it just stays right in the little peg, the stylus,
just
and
right.
so it's real easy.
Perfect. It is
And
perfect.
now you can just move over.
Okay,
Do you
so
cut that
now
thread, or you just go ahead and move over?
I'm just gonna, well, I think I'm gonna cut it.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up and I'll show a technique that I've been using to tie these off.
So you leave a little bit of tail there.
I usually use a thicker thread for these initial circles, and I like to just knot the threads and use a needle to bury it into the batting.
Oh, okay.
And that way you don't backtrack with this heavy thread, which would just, you know,
Your lighter weight
create-
thread you can stitch on, do
Yeah.
little tiny stitches,
Yeah.
but using a heavy thread it can be a problem.
Yeah. Okay, so now I've threaded my needle and I'm just going to go ahead and run this thread right there into the batting just to kind of bury it. And that will be held in place later by
More
my quilting.
stitching.
And the
That
idea
makes
is
a neater
Yeah.
ending and starting for
yeah,
that.
and then you don't have the buildup of the clumpy thread.
Okay.
So now I'm going to go ahead and do my larger circle.
And once again, we're using the workstation. This isn't freehand.
I wish it was.
A perfect circle.
A circle is
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
a circle would be very hard to do freehand.
Yes.
So this is just a wonderful tool. And now I'm going to start drafting my compass just right here at the machine. Anyone can just refer to a mariner's compass book. I mean, there's just so many out there, and that's just basically what I'm doing. What would normally be drafted on paper and then either paper pieced is just using that same technique here to quilt.
And you're just using the water-soluble?
I'm using a water-soluble pen, and what I'm doing is I'm going from this point to this point, and I'm just going to go over. So that can be one complete quilting line. I won't have to...
Kind of makes that star underneath there.
Exactly.
Cool.
And
I find designing is so fun.
Oh, it is. And I might change threads here and use a contrasting thread.
I saw that you did that on your quilting.
Again, using a thick thread for this part so it can show up really well.
With the regulated stitch, I know you don't have a regulated stitch, but with the regulated stitch you can actually just leave the machine on and stop.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes very fast.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and draft my second set of points. And I'm going from this point over to this point.
The ones that you haven't used.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it makes another star on top of that
Yeah.
one.
And there's so many ways that you could, you know, do this. It just, you know, you can really play around with it and create different lengths, and this is just your basic.
And this again is where you could change colors of thread to make it look like one's on top of another.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now I'm just going to
You
go
can see
ahead
it
and
now.
have my second set of points.
So you line it up with that point, but you don't have to take it clear over to the circle.
You don't have to, but you could if you wanted to. And if you wanted to, then it would create a secondary star within that. So it's just, you know, a lot of experimentation.
Deciding what
and
you want to do.
Just, you can have several different stars on one whole cloth. I think what I'm going to do now is show some fillers that can be used to really pop those stars.
It looks like you've almost got a trapunto effect on some of your stars, but they're not trapunto.
No, they're not.
Just from doing that background heavier in those areas.
Yeah.
Neat.
Now here I would probably switch to a finer thread or, you know, a metallic or something that can settle down into the fabric. And now I'm doing crescent shapes that I'll echo and then go along this line.
The edge. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just echoing it halfway. And then I'm just going to come along here and create wave shapes.
Very flowing, very pretty.
And now I would probably just repeat that around, but I'll show pebbles make really nice fillers for these.
They really stand out. And oh my goodness, you're doing those so nice and round. How do you do that? That's great.
I try to vary
Mine look
the
like
size.
real rocks, you know. Yours look like perfect little pebbles. Good job.
Thank you. And I try to vary the sizes for interest.
And it's okay to go around those more than once, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To get to another place. So you really can't get cornered.
Nope. Nope. You just keep rounding and
Oh, the
rounding
texture
them.
that creates is incredible too. I love it.
And another great filler is just to go back and forth, kind of.
Keeping your lines very straight.
Yeah, and just going outward.
That would really give it that radiating look.
Yeah, exactly.
This would be nice with variegated thread too. The changes in, especially this pattern.
Oh yeah,
Would be really
this is
pretty.
where you really want to play with your decorative threads.
So
And
you kind of come back to that center point, don't you?
you
Okay.
just keep coming back to it, and then you could, possibly change threads and go over with a contrasting thread.
Yeah. Very nice.
And what I'm going to show you now is you can use this grid that you've created for your center quilting design. If you wanted to possibly do some spiky fern type things, create some movement.
How cool.
I'm using my grid here.
You just use those lines as your guide to keep all of your
You've
quilting
already got
even.
it divided.
Just like you would use your piecework if it were piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's going to be lovely. Oh, very nice.
And then I would probably embellish it with crystals or beads or something fun.
Something fun. Well, thank you so much, Gina. I'm definitely going to try this project. And I have so many projects now that I'm going to do. It's unbelievable, like everybody else.
Well, good.
But let's take a look at the quilts that you brought, and you give us a rundown on how you did them.
Okay.
Yeah. This beautiful feathered
This
star.
is Feathered Frenzy. This is a quilt that I just wanted to, had always wanted to try a feathered star using an unusual color combination. I love traditional quilting also, so I just really wanted to create a quilt where I could use feathered motifs and cross-hatching. And on this quilt, the cross-hatching was fairly simple because I just went off of the sawtooth border points for my
and your points are so
cross-hatching.
sharp. Oh, dude.
And for the feathered motifs, I did mark them using a water-soluble stabilizer.
It looks like you've used a lighter thread to do the motifs, and then for the background you've used one that matched, a thread that matched better.
Yeah, I used a lighter shade for the motifs, and then a real fine, darker thread for the stippling.
Well, it is absolutely gorgeous. And the other one is called?
Now this doesn't have a name.
Oh, it doesn't have a name.
It was
We
part
can
of
fix that.
It was part of a challenge put on for MQS this year.
Which is
It's
Machine
a
Quilter
mystery.
Showcase for a lot of the viewers. So,
It's a mystery quilt, and it was a competition. So they gave you the pattern, and you chose your fabrics, and then chose the quilting. And I wanted to repeat the motif I used in the center along the edges, and so I just went ahead and quilted a square in on the border.
oh, it's gorgeous.
And
you've used those little swirls out in the border that you just showed us.
Yep.
You can see.
Yes, I did.
And won a first prize on this one, I understand.
Yeah.
Good
I sure
for
did.
you. And this beautiful ensemble that you have brought, this coat, purse, and hat, it's so you. Tell me about this.
Well, thank you. I had a lot of fun with this. I just really wanted to create an outfit that had a kind of a vintage feel, a stylish feel about it, and I really wanted to create something with the pink and the black and white polka dots. And I just really wanted to experiment with the grid work and the feathers, and of course had to embellish the feathers and the quilting with the crystals.
Well, it's just the right touch. So
Well, thank
it's
you.
just gorgeous.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm having so much fun with my new Gamble Vision 2. I have customized my right handle to the start and stop, and my tie-off feature as well. My left handle has not only the needle position, so I can have my needle start and stop down, but also my stitch button, which toggles between stitch modes. This just keeps getting better and better as I envision more possibilities in my quilting applications. Being able to customize the 4 buttons on the handles has given my creativity wings. My stitch, my vision, my Gamble.